I have a question. If someone else has something to talk about, I'll just throw this out there because maybe all of us could use it. But Tanya, if you had known, how long have you've been doing it? 20 years? How long have you been brokering?
Since 2006, so close
Okay,
to 20.
really close. So, what do you wish your 2006 version of yourself knew what you know now? What do you wish she knew in 2006?
Um, well, I can tell you that the business has changed quite a bit.
Hmm.
Okay, so when I first got involved in 2006, what was being taught to business brokers was, you need to have 20 listings at all times, and you go meet with a business owner and take your paperwork with you and ask them a few questions. Don't get the financials or anything else. You can do that later, but ask them, you know, how much is their rent? How much are their utilities? How much is this? How much is that? What was your gross revenue last year? How much money did you take home between, your salary and whatever your discretionary expenses are, or the discretionary expenses that get paid through the business? And then based on that, in almost like a how much do you want for the business type of thing. And that's how you list it and price it, have them sign on the dotted line. And, if they want 1,200,000 and the business is worth 300,000, don't worry about it because you're locking them up for a year and eventually they're going to understand that nobody's interested in their business and you'll be able to talk them down. So that was the way I was taught initially. And it didn't quite set right, but at the same time, it was kind of, okay, I guess, And they said you want to have 20 listings because a lot of them are not going to be saleable. And so you're advertising these and marketing these. And when the buyers inquire about it, you just divert them over to what is saleable and what is priced correctly and what is. So I think that over the years it has become more of a advisory role,
Mhm.
um, more consultative, I guess, than it used to be. The other thing that we were told is, don't get involved at all with due diligence. Just kind of say, hey, you need to do due diligence. This is your period, and you need to sign off on your due diligence contingency on this date, and that's it. And so in when you're dealing with first time buyers that have never owned a business before, that don't have any real information, and I'm talking about under California law, there's an expectation that as the professional, as the business broker, as, you're supposed to give them some level of guidance since you've been selling businesses and it's not what they've never bought a business before. So I think there's a lot of things that I learned over the years that I just made changes in my own business process. Um, Part of it was just logic. Part of it was just my core values were very different than the franchise core values that I was with at the time. And um, and for me, I'd rather kill a deal than have a buyer invest their life savings into a business that I know they have, is going to fail, right? Either because the business is already declining or because I can tell that the seller is squirrely and not telling them something, or
Mhm.
because I can tell that the buyer just doesn't have the background expertise that they need in order to succeed in this given business. So I personally would rather kill that deal and find the right buyer for that um, than make a quick sale and then watch somebody you know destroy their life savings. So things like that are I think, like I said, the business has evolved. So we are more advisors now. We are more consultants now than we used to be. And I think that that's expected to some extent. Uh, it used to be more like you're making introductions. I mean, literally, it was kind of you go to the first buy sell meeting with the buyer and seller, introduce them, and then it's like, okay, once there's an offer, it's like, okay, well, you all need to, go figure out your due diligence, go figure out everything, and call me when you're
Done.
call me if you're done. Yeah, when you're done or if you need anything. Um, but it's just not like that anymore. I mean, at a bare minimum, if I'm dealing with a unseasoned buyer, then I'm going to send them kind of a basic due diligence checklist that just says, hey, this is a preliminary checklist that you should run by your attorney and your CPA and have them add on to it. But, this is the very basics that you're going to want. Things like that, because we all know that first time buyers, a lot of times they don't want to spend money on a CPA. They don't want to spend money on an attorney. And they're going to rely on you as the broker, even if all your paperwork says, yes, we're not relying on the broker. I mean, the fact is they are, and everybody knows it. And a court of law knows it too. Okay. So you have to always take actions and create your processes in such a way that you just figure at some point you're going to end up in a courtroom in front of a judge or jury. And they're going to be looking at what you've done, the actions you've taken, the emails you've written, everything else. How does that reflect on you as a professional? Mm. And if you approach it that way, then you're probably going to stay out of trouble. Especially emails. People can get really annoying sometimes. And so sometimes you feel like sending an email, and when you type it up, so don't click send, just wait until the next day and reread it. And then either hit delete or you can hit Gemini or whatever else and say, please rephrase this nicely and politely and professionally. Right? You use some AI tools now. So, yeah. But I do think marketing has changed a lot. I did, one of the first things I had done was hired a cold caller. And back then, we were I was generally out on appointments almost every day. Now there's so many lead generation companies calling business owners all the time that have absolutely nothing to offer them that, kind of, it messes it up, because as a broker, when you call a business owner, that's, the third or fourth call they've gotten that week or that month. Mm-hmm. So that part has changed quite a bit. But now, I mean, there's also, you have social media, which, the social media wasn't as prevalent back then. LinkedIn is great for trying to connect with other professionals, wealth management people, CPAs, attorneys, and so forth. So trying to just expand a circle of influence there, using LinkedIn with professionals can be good. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I think if I wish anything had been different, I think I wish that the organization I had originally affiliated with had core values that were more similar to my own, because I think that some of the things that I had to that didn't really resonate, I didn't do. And so, and I think if I had been working with somebody who had, or an organization whose values were more similar to my own at that point in time, I could have probably excelled in business a lot sooner, because I wouldn't have been resistant. When there's something that when you're being told to do something that doesn't feel right or doesn't resonate with you, you're resistant, right?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of that resistance to certain things I wouldn't have had, because I wouldn't have been being instructed or told to do things that felt slimy. It didn't resonate. So anyhow, that's about it. That's kind of the long story to it, Robin.
No, I appreciate your feedback and your yeah, I just appreciate it. So thank you.